Yo. Hey. Yo, I'm on. We be jam on. What's up, y'all? What's up, Xenians? I'm sure that's who's here right now chilling. Probably a bunch of Xenians. Because we are the greater market. We are the greater market. Bitch. Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and the rest of those might be the media or the, the core, the Manhattan Island. But the Zen world, yo, that's that fucking the greater Manhattan, the greater New York. Where do you live? I live in the greater New York. That's one of my favorite things. Oh, because I'm not from New York, you know what I'm saying? I'm from California. But I live here, and when people have to make sure they don't come off noob, but they live in New York, they're like, I live in the greater New York. Huh. We're rich up in Albany too. Don't get it twisted. They're not rich only in the middle. Cheers. What's up, y'all? How's it going? What up, Rolando? What up, Downtown Clark? I see you, bro. We got Zen enthusiasts in the house as well. Rolando says he's a vampire. He's a potato. He's a potato and a vampire. Yo, today, I gotta change the day because it is not Monday. It's 100% Wednesday. Bam, Wednesday, April 9th. I gotta get my calendar in order. I forgot to change the day, but I did change the numbers, so that's pretty good. Yeah, it's April 9th, 2025. We're pushing through it again. We're pushing through it, y'all. Like, it's almost April 15th before you know it. And then we're on to May. That's how this shit is working. Like 100%. Like, if you got to get with the fucking program too now. That's what's crazy to me. Like, we used to just be chilling, but like now this shit is moving. I was just looking at my Vast account. I'm gonna start XENblocking soon, harder. Pause. Right now I'm pretty light. Been pretty light. Just been doing 140.90, because that's enough for me, man. I got a lot of these bitches, and I need to wait for something to happen. I have faith, but I have to also play the reality game, because maybe that will help faith. And in reality, there is no X1 chain, and you are just hashing fucking coins for no reason. So always keep that in mind, that you are doing that. But again, you're in the greater New York. So you've got possibilities for things to pop off and whatnot. But yeah, man, it's a feeling today. It's like I said, it's the middle of the week. Most of the world moves on a Tuesday. So that's why yesterday was a shit day. Because that's what happens, man. Markets open on Mondays. Everybody's like, pop confetti. We ain't going to do what we was doing. You get hyped up all weekend. They're not going to do it on Monday. So you totally forget that there's, the remaining week. So you go all in on Monday because they didn't do it. And then bam, Tuesday, they did it. Tuesday, they rugged it by the playbook. So now it's Wednesday. We trading sideways. You pretty much fucked yourself if you decided to buy this weekend or buy again pretty much, yesterday's hype. And I mean, oh wait, I'm not even looking at the right thing right now. We're looking at Coin Market Cap, which is all right. I like this one. Live Coin Watch. I like Live Coin Watch because, like, when I look at CBZen, it's a good reminder that we've come a long way versus Ethereum and USD value. Shout out CBZen. We'll talk about this in a second. But yeah, if you use Live Coin Watch and not coin market cap, you can actually see stats like this, like, or it's just a little bit, I don't know, it's just displayed better to me. Just has a sexier connection. But yeah, so CBZN up fucking 132% versus ETH in the last 90 days. Proof is in the pudding, baby. But I really want TradingView. That's why I don't even have to like harp anymore about Zen, man. The proof is in the pudding. Go and snack on it. Like, it's everywhere. There's so many pieces of it. That's why I've started developing things for it. This is what I'm making right now. Actually, before we start jumping in, that's why I'm kind of quiet. Because I'm making, I don't know if this is going to transfer over. Is it going to transfer over? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm making a CBZN dashboard right now from scratch. This shit is hard. Fuck what you've heard. This shit is hard. But you know what's funny? Is I've always been into coding and helping people with their code, never creating logic. So like to actually put this shit together is another world for me. Like I put everything together, but with the help of AI. So I didn't type it out, but I did type it out because it doesn't come out like this. Like here, I'll show you what I mean. Like this is like, at one point this shit looked like this. So this is the most recent build. Like now I just got to put some more shit in. I'm learning some stuff like that. And that's what I mean. Zen is so sick with it when it comes to design. And that's why a lot of people just can't understand it because they're regular people. They're just regular. I'm a regular person. Shout out Sha Bibi. So from a designer standpoint, man, Zen is fucking flexible. There's never been a system like this. We've had it, but we've lost it. So this is like refreshing for me, and this is what personally I've been doing. Haven't really been focused again on price too much because I think people are missing out on the flexibility of what's to come. So yeah, put your head in the goddamn books, get to creating, get to building, because we're gonna need builders, and they're not gonna show up. We're gonna create them. I've said this before. I was like, Zen is the type of token to make its own builders, because it is the AI, right? If like Zen is the AI, then it's supposed to tell you to make shit for it. It is the AI. It's like, yo, go make some shit. Here's a GPT. I created this in your reality, so you can create different things for me. So hopefully this evolves over time. Right now, what it is again, I'm just making a CBZN dashboard just to learn how to program with the contract, and then after that, the next step will, again, be making more robust things. Hopefully I end up like a Tree City West. West is fucking on 10. He comes from a background. That's what's funny about the homie Tree City West. He's been developing, but I feel like he has immersed himself in the Zen development and his own pace, like whatever it is, the hash heads, building the potato vampire meme, building the, I think Potato Vampire 2.0 is the emoji Dracula, just simply because it has a better strategy than the Potato Vampire. Shout outs to Potato Vampire of Rolando. I hear you. But from just speaking from a design standpoint, like that's why, when Tree did that website, that token has so much more crazy energy. And again, it comes from the developer. Knowing how to work what their vision is or what they want to see. And that's the part that's hard, that a lot of people can't do. But then once they get to the part where they want to see, then you got to connect it to the blockchain. Then a whole bunch of fucking fuck shit can happen and you're just fucked. Right? That's how I'm seeing it now. I'm like, oh, some people, they don't know how to do this part where you connect it to the chain and make it proficient. So yeah, there's a lot to be learned. Zen is a good way to find proficiency in blockchain development design, I believe. Because again, you're going to want to work the muscle. That's the only way to get squall. Okay. You can't get squall from sitting on the couch, being in the crowd. All right, you gotta go and practice. Makes perfect type shit. So, like for instance, this is the first render, and this is the most recent. So you see, I went from having bad spacing, more consolidation, to having a little bit better spacing, and then also adding the your staked amount zone, which is like, it's like I'm building on this idea and I'll run into a problem and I'm like, okay, cool. How do I fix this? And now that we're here, like at this your stake thing, I think I got it all figured out. So it's pretty sick. If you remember when Phoenix came out, Joe Blau, I've never asked him this, and maybe I should have a chat with him about his new thing he's cooking up. But Joe Blau, I feel like he released Phoenix, and that was his first crypto project. And we literally just watched that fool do it with Zen. And there's so much power behind that ideology, that he was an experienced developer that knew how to code and could just make Phoenix, which is like fucking badass, right? And it's a very simple idea, but the thing about it is the impact it brings to the infrastructure of X1 chain. Like the new ideas that you can add to like X1 chain outside of the garden of X1. It's just, it's fucking crazy design. I haven't even talked about the Zen price yet. That's how far away I've gotten from the Zen thing now. Like I'm in Zen, bitch, literally coding with it. Making ways, you know, again, for you to maybe experience this in the future. I gotta welcome back. Hold on. Welcome back. I know you like that. Cool, still working. But yeah, like this is gonna be pretty sick when it's finished. Once I can get it modularly connected, then we're gonna have some fun with this shit. But I gotta get it connected. But this background's pretty cool how I made it. And like, oh, it's not gonna work right now. I think I have the dev server off. But yeah, so yeah, there's like one more piece to this I gotta figure out, which is connecting this staked part, which I already have figured out. Because it's like you come to a corner, like that's what a GPT should be like. You should be asking the right questions as if it's your fucking assistant. Like it's like, yo, bitch, I need you to do this for me, and I need it by deadline. Like you're essentially the senior manager of the development and operations team, right? And it's called GPT. So I just got to get to this part and get it out the way, which again, this is where I was like, oh, Joe Blau made such a crazy thing. And the last thing I could hear him saying in Phoenix was he was having issues with hard hat. And I was like, oh, what the fuck is hard hat? Like, I don't understand that. Now that's where I am. Like, I'm learning that you have to go into another development environment to have easier connections between the blockchain and your script, because your script samples like all these type variables. It's like some coding jargon. Because again, if you have a little bit of coding experience, this shit is gonna be very easy for you. And then it's just what you've never had before, right? This assistant that can take all your fucking errors and just make them better, or just, you know, again, get you to where you need to be or get you where you need to be so you can move forward. But yeah, Joe Blau created this. I'm not saying he used AI. Realistically, I'm saying that he's so smart or like he's so like experienced in code that like this wasn't difficult for him. Like finding all the pieces to put it together it wasn't like a fucking, I need to go on a 2-year, you know, journey through the desert so I can learn how to survive. It's not of that nature. It's more of like he picked up all of the tools he had, and then was gifted the Zen contract and its variables, and he made Phoenix with this idea that gas on Hex was too high. So how can we correct that? Right? I mean, it's so far gone because everybody doesn't get it for some reason. There's a few people that get it. Also, this is the cheapest place to burn your Zen. So like for X1 emissions, you want to use Phoenix if you don't give a fuck about the Zen. Right? Because Zen can be used to get a better source or a better product. I don't think there's much stuff out right now besides X1's future. I've been saying that, like, to make a burner is to compete with X1. So it's better to connect to X1 rather than create an ecosystem. Like, that's what Phoenix did incorrect. Phoenix should have released a token first and then maybe introduce staking so that it led people to the next phase. But since it just burned and staked, it competed too much with other staking protocols. That's just kind of my vision on that. So you take that nugget with you. If you're making an emissions dApp where you're burning Zen into X1, you probably want to think of that part. Like, what is the fuck am I creating? And should I just make something that burns and then do something with it later? Because that's also cool too. I think that's also really cool. That's like the built-in pump fund, like release your own token. Like, nobody has done that. Like, it's a very simple thing to do with Zen. I mean, that's what Joe Blau's doing right now. So if you've been following Joe Blau, he's about to release a meme factory. ETH and AVAX mints are so cheap. What up, ENJ Dub? What's up? They are. Is Zen profitable right now? Nah, hell nah. Nigga, the whole fucking shit is trash. Profit. I mean, you could get in and with the market makers. So I see like it's been pumping. It caught a bottom and it's going up. But I am not touching. Well, not this one. I'm buying. If I'm buying a Zen, I'm buying. You know which one it is. I'm buying that CB Zen. So this is profitable in my opinion. But it's like a double-edged sword because it's gonna go down with Ethereum. So like, if ETH's not done dumping, like it's definitely gonna tank. Like, the whole markets are fucked, dude. So it's like the belief system of prices is out of here. Yeah. So Joe Blau is launching this fastjpeg.com in 7 hours. See, yeah, and this is like a here, we'll show this on X. This is where I'm getting at. Why I'm feeling very positive about development. That is the main word in crypto. Build. Some people have tried to jump the gun on this notion. Meanwhile, others like a base, right? Base chain, like they're funding the notion. So it's a funny world we're living in right now. I like Joe Blau. Met him before. He's a dope individual. Amazing. Again, like, he's a hands-on individual. I one day I'll have to ask him, did he code this by hand, or did him and his friend code this for real by hand? Because that would be one of the reasons to get into Phoenix, because this might be one of the only ones that have this type of pick up and go. And what would be nuts about this whole situation would be that the one that wasn't funded is the like fair principle one. Like the DXN, that shit is cap, and that's a whole group. Not to hate on DBZN, but it's like I hear there's problems on DBZen's website like all the time. Maybe it's just them though. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's just them. But at the same time, like when you look at the UX, now that I'm here in the UX like of everything, like DXN isn't hard to do. It's just they did it. But the fact that they stopped supporting it, or like the fact that it needs support, is a big factor in the idea of burning your Zen. Because Phoenix, again, Joe Blau, he just made it, threw it out there. No value, bit like no value. It just burns your Zen, which is valuable enough for some people, which has created a tiny buzz, but nothing big. You know, you're like waiting for this to get bigger. My hand is just like, yeah, I don't, you know, at the end of the day, it's fucking game over. I'm not gonna say the other word. At the end of the day, it's you know, it's lame. Like nobody cares about it. So it, to me, it brings up the factor like, yo, if you had Phoenix and something else, right? Like if Phoenix had ETH attached to it, it would have value, right? And that's what made DBZen so valuable to people. It's because they were getting ETH, and now they have this notion they can still get the ETH. But the problem is that the UX and the whole project demands a leader. And that's kind of why, again, I'm like, yo, the fairest way to release a project in Zen world will be to make something that has nothing to do with what you're making. Like, this is just a burner. And that's why it would have been sicker if he just burned and then introduced staking. Because then people would have understood what to do next. But like, since it was a staking burn platform, some people were like, oh no, I want the burn stake rewards platform. You see what I mean by the blade? It's almost like a bundle idea. 2 different teams, 2 different angles, 1 code called Zen. It's so fucking insane. But yeah, that's why I'm not worried about Zen, bro. Like you should be worried that you don't have enough, because I am so overwhelmed in this shit. It's crazy. I'm overwhelmed in the education. And, you know, I'm overwhelmed in the opportunity. I'm grabbing all the opportunities on CBZen. Every single one. You know, and that's why I'm building for CBZen, because that's where I have my most exposure. I think there's a lot of wrong in our chart, but it's because it doesn't have a leader. And it's not that it needs a leader. Again, it doesn't need a leader. It just needs tiny clusters of community members to provide value in some way to push the train a little further. Right. And like right now, CBZen is doing the best it can, Captain, with like hodlers. But that's where we need devs to step in. Right. But devs, they're not going to show up without grants. So it's going to take the people with the large holdings to step up and make something for the smaller individuals to stay more organized. So we're going to have all kinds of arrays of things. All kinds of products. Really, you know, it's just the time like to get the developers on board it, to create and understand the vision. A lot of people still don't understand Zen. They promote it the incorrect way. They talk about it in a group. Bitch, this shit is not a group activity. It's every man for themselves until the AMP is at 1. But really, it's every man for themselves until the stake is at 2%. That's something I've been talking about on this channel. So you can go back and do the fucking math. You can math it out. What's up, Tazinian? I have multiple reasons to be fucking stupid bullish on CBZen. Everything else, hell no. People hate me for that shit because I don't root for their token, but they're all trash. See, like when you bring it down to a developer's perspective, it makes sense why nobody owns the coins of a different chain. Like imagine Ethereum. Ethereum has all the developer share. And like this is the real battle. You don't want devs to leave ETH and move to Solana. That's why Ethereum has such a huge cluster. Huge cluster. I mean, look at the Zen world. This is all an Ethereum cluster at the end of the day. Like, this is a giant cluster because our contract works in all these environments, and we can bring our variables directly to these ecosystems. If we could just plug right in, beach, bing, you know, that's a cluster, right? Just plug right into the frame and you're going. Not a lot of projects are like this. A lot of projects, they are a community plugging into the frame. And as the community dies, so does their frame, right? Not in the Zen world. The Zen world is based on time and fair principles. And that's what makes it undesirable. Since nobody's there to pump it up, it's undesirable. It's fucking ridiculous. And what's funny about that is it exposes all these other chains. And that's why I'm hyped about CBZen, because people desire base chain. Zens that are the most desired have the most liquidity, right? So it's a very obvious why, you know, Avalanche is number 8, why Binance is number 9, right? Why Moonbeam, Phantom, XEN, right? I've already said it. The fucking honorary mention forever will be XEN, because it makes no sense why it's still here. Like, Pulse Chain makes sense because Jack Levin entered his game. Like, he didn't have followers, so he used Pulse Chain people to become his followers. He had no followers, right? So that's why there's a heavy influence on Pulse Chain. It's just Zen is so fair, it exposes the real chain. So you could be polarized as much as you want to think that chain is fire. Zen is going to show you that that chain is not, in many different ways, whether it's the hardware, right? That's the way it's working. It's nodes. It's development operations. That's its strategy to continue, such as XEN, Phantom. No strategy to continue. Those ones are the funniest ones. And as well as its community, right? So hardware, development operations, and community. Those 3 things. If one of those is not on point, the whole thing is fucked. And what we've seen is that community does push Zens up. Like, if you have that whole trifecta where you don't have to worry about development operations, the chain is going to run, right? You don't have to worry about hardware. The chain is going to update. The chain is going to run. And then when you don't have to worry about community, that also is an advantage, because now you don't need to go and find people to root for the chain and for you at the same time. Right? That's the problem with XEN. The harsh fact that, you know, no one's going to really want to understand or see is that XEN is a reflection of the Pulse Chain community. So what they've done is they've grifted the shit out of the G rank for early participants and created a lot of supply. Now, this is funny because we're flipping the game in Coinbase Zen. We're actually getting ready to flip Pulse Chain in a positive manner, in my personal opinion. Same with Optimism Zen. So our G rank is up to 202 million. So we're about to flip. We're going to flip because, like, we're moving hella fast. People are minting crazy over there because they like it. So this is playing out exactly how I envision it to. People like inflation. Zen's minting formula is the work. There's not enough for everybody to personally have a lot of supply. So it's a big cluster of supply that's constantly going down due to the logarithmic depreciation, right? So there's a large cluster of supply, but only so many people are going to be able to get it all. And to say to get it all is now spontaneous, because again, you need community. You can't be like, oh, we gonna all get it all if you don't have a community, right? So I'll show you what I'm talking about, because now it's here. I'm like, thank God, we're finally here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I can't hate on optimism. It's right up there in this thesis. What up, Lita? Not to mention, Jack agreed with me when I asked him if Pulse Chain is the most decentralized chain in the space today. But yeah, it's ghetto. That's why it's decentralized. You know, it's funny. I like kind of live in a hood. Still. And what's funny is like, I was like driving this morning, and I saw some, you know, hood activities, some hood activities essentially. Saw the gang signs. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, see, when I was young, I wanted it to be associated with that network, the streets. That is the craziest network to join. And that's why it's like the ghetto, the network you join, man, all that shit is the same in digital, bro. But I can understand, because it's like, yeah, like I'm in the streets with the bros. We run this shit. Then somebody does a drive-by, and then the cops don't do anything because you're in the ghetto. The ghetto. The ghetto. I love that song. But yeah, looking at Optimism XEN. So Optimism XEN, 209 G rank. No reason for this to be growing at all anyway. So it's finally kind of dying out, but it's not really dying out because people still minting. So this is still raising the question, will people ever stop minting? Is it addiction? You know, or is there strategy? I think it's addiction. Like, I think some people are really just addicted to minting and they're not listening. They don't care about the facts. It's like, oh, you know, I just don't know. Like, because this one's very weird. You're making XEN and it's free. So you always have to remember that. OP XEN is like the freest XEN. Now, it's definitely the lowest amount, but it is the freest XEN. So most of the whales have it, right? That's where the distribution is. But it's okay, because as long as they hold or they redistribute promptly and not like clipping it, then it should be all right. You know, but I'm not in this globe, or I'm not in this cosmo of the universe. That's why I'm not putting a lot of thinking power on it, because I don't care. But I can see, I can see like the universal things, such as like, okay, cool, the staked amount is more than the liquid amount. So that means there's a staking class here. It's heavy believers, community, decentralized way to see this shit. So it's like, okay, I can buy a few of these and join their movement. Right. And if they're going to keep making G ranks, that's why it's like, yo, I don't know why they're still partying over here. Like, it's supposed to be over, but the party goes on. And we're all trying to figure that answer out. Maybe in 514 days, there'll be a different sentiment. But for right now, the party goes. And like, looking at PZen, 211 million G rank, right? OPZen's G rank is right under PZen. Now, PZen has been affected a lot because the gas went up. So they had low gas, then high gas. Right? So you would assume the community would understand, hey, the minting formula has flipped. We're not producing as many G ranks, you know, as we used to. Maybe we should buy the supply and stake it, right? So some people kind of have the notion, but it's a community notion. Like, you need the whole community to do it. So what you see here is this: the total staked is underneath the liquid supply, right? So and there's another way to fix this too. Now that we've got the CBZen understanding, which is the burn. So you would need to burn more because the supply is so high, right? So you would need to be burning at this G rank to lower the pressure of your staked, because you got quite a bit, right? But now it's like, this is kind of where I'm at with it. Like, you have to go and champion the XEN tokens and shit, and like get everybody behind you. Try to get Xenians to move from other platforms. Like, I don't know. To me, that just sounds like a lot of work. You know, like I'm making a portal, right? If I make a portal and then people want to come through my portal, why wouldn't I tax a community that's obviously showing that like nobody really cares about this in there? You get me? Like, it's gonna be weird if you can't naturally build up that support, and that's what XEN and XEN are showing. Now, why it's like this over here? I do think it's something to deal with the Ethereum. People have more integrity for it, which brings a little bit more of an educated user, who's again more who's going long, thinking more about the macro rather than a micro type strategy. So like the honorary mention of Polygon, like I've always said, Polygon is a inspiration because they have everything that everybody should be looking up to, because they haven't also, when we look at the watch list, like Polygon is again in liquidity, it's number 5. Oh, I guess in market cap it's dropped a lot because nobody's buying or burning or staking. But yeah, in liquidity it's number 5, and daily trade volume is number 6. So like with XEN, like this thing is funny. This one's funny because it's on an exchange. Like XEN is actually on an exchange. So there's market makers over here like there is on Ethereum. And what's so weird about it for me is that you have market makers and you have mentors. And that's why we have such an exploded supply. But it's not showing a good price because people aren't staking. So again, you would need to go out and tell everybody that has XEN, stake your fucking coins. Why are you sitting on them? To try to get them to move in. And that's why I'm like, okay, you couldn't naturally do that unless you had influence on Polygon. And this is why all the chains outside of the ETH ones are garbage, because every single one is lacking community. That real community that you need to get over the fucking finish line. Avalanche XEN showed me this way early in the day. That's why I stopped using it, because I went into all the Avalanche camps and try to make peace. It's like, yo, what's up, man? My name is Crypto, bro. I'm a Xenian. You guys should try this shit out. It was like during this era when I was like buying it all up and fucking shit like an idiot. But I realized that like the Avalanche people, they don't want it. Or like they're really built for Avalanche. You know, if you're going to have a product, build it around Avalanche. Like, don't build it like XEN, which is building inside of Avalanche. It's not building on Avalanche. It's built in Avalanche. So yeah, this kind of went against the ethics of some people. They didn't want to turn their AVAX into XEN because they were like, well, that's not really benefiting my AVAX back. So the crossroads here is pretty funny, because you don't have any inflation or the pollution I talk about on a G rank. So the blocks are smaller. AVAX community didn't want to join the party. It was really just Xenians making it. So that's why this one has the lowest G rank. It's not because it's hanging behind. It's the settlement. The G rank is the settlement of the popularity of the chain. Man, I one day I hope to like be able to really get these terms down, because this is why I feel like people don't understand XEN. I'll hear people like just start promoting shit. And I'm like, man, you really don't want people to win. Like, base is the easiest win for everyone in the network because the network is so poor. So if it's not like I'm shilling base so that you come to base and you pump my bag, right? It's more about the mathematics of how it benefits the network and the community if more Zen like minds participated in this specific one. Because we're so fragmented, if it's the concept, or if the fragmentation is the concept of your favorite chain, then at some point we have to consolidate, because favorite is not dominant to fact, you know? It's like the fact is there's a shit ton of staked over here and no liquid supply. It's dripped in Ethereum and base is empty. Base is giving people grants for building with base, and now we understand that you can wrap the Zen in the base, right? That's what Avalanche prevented me from understanding, and now I understand it. And I don't want to go and build on Avalanche. Fuck them. They fucking was being hella weirdos, saying like, oh, I can't make more Avalanche, and I couldn't understand what they were saying in 2023. I'm like, why don't you mean this is a project that maybe makes you more Avalanche, right? Because I'm all noob. I don't get like, oh, they want me to build a fucking DeFi platform where you stake your Zen and your AZN together and they get a percentage of some APY or something. Your business logic. Couldn't understand the business logic. But yeah, so with base, now that I understand business logic, theoretically, you actually have the biggest opportunity on base than Avalanche. In base, Ethereum is first, not second. So it is more Ethereum like than Avalanche. And the same for every other chain. Every other chain will look at Ethereum as a second world when ETH is the first world. So this is why the super chain is a thing. This is why layer 2 is a thing. It's all marketing. That's why I'm like, yo, I don't know, but people think I'm fucking shilling CBZen. I'm telling you where the market is heading. The market ain't heading nowhere else. And MZen is so wild because no market is not heading to Polygon, but they keeping this bitch alive. And I just don't get it. I'm like, man, they got hella Polygon. But again, Polygon was an airdrop. A lot of people got Polygon for 4 cents and below. That's when I had entered Polygon. I don't even know what it is now. What's the Polygon price? Polygon. What up, Dank? Chill away. What up, Tree City West? What up, y'all? Rolando says, I grew up in the hood. Now I'm in the burbs. You could take the bro out the ghetto, but not the ghetto out the bro. This is a true fact, man. Like I said, yo, you live close to the hood, not in the hood. But in the crypto space, you 100% got to move up and out the burbs. We moving to the gated community on the hill. Okay. You can't have nothing ghetto up there. The ghetto, they at the bottom of the hill. We meet down there. All right. That's kind of what that's where we're headed. And it's hard to understand, but I can see it. House on the hill with a gate around it. You meet people down the hill. Unfortunate. If you're going to come up the hill, I'm going to send a van down and it's going to drive you up. But yeah, so Polygon, let's look at this. I got a whole bunch of real NYs in the house. What's up, Lou? God damn. Oh, because it switched to Polygon, so it's never seen an up. Where's the old one? Where's the Matic chart? They just deleted the Matic chart, like that shit didn't exist or something. Like Matic Matic didn't happen. So how do I gotta see what Rapmatic? That's crazy. Yo, they hella disconnected it from the past. The past. Yeah, this is the same wave. This one's disconnected from the past. Oh well, but yeah. So yeah, if you could ever find a chart of Polygon from like 2020, I guess, and behind, you'd see how cheap people got Polygon for. So this could be like an exhaustion of G rank of like Polygon players. But again, it's inspo because Polygon never shut down. It got wrecked and it never shut down. They didn't go and say, hey, we got to pull the contract. That's why, again, I think you have to think about development operations when you're working on a blockchain, because that's like Jack and his team coming out with X1 chain and then they can't handle the traffic and they're like, we got to back out. Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? Like, you signed up for this, you got to back out now? It's like, oh, yeah, it's too much, man. We got to back out. Right? That's why only reason I'm rooting for Jack. Like, obviously his development operation skills are, you know, like, yeah, CEO motherfucker. And we're trying to get something off the ground that literally does not fly. All right. Crypto does not fly, dude. This shit, you throw this shit and it crashes to the ground. It does not. Ethereum got it. ETH got it going on. Same with Solana. I think there's actually, the more I'm learning about development, the more I understand why Charles flexed he has scientists. Y'all ever heard that shit? Like Charles Hawkinson being like, yeah, Cardano got like scientists or some shit. Like, what is this shit? Science. Oh shit. Oh shit. Shit. I suppose it's right. I think I did. Close. Well, here's some shit, I guess. Yeah, chief scientist. That's who's running Cardano. This shit going to space. This is some real space money. Cardano. Look at this. Space. I'm still laughing at learning all of this stuff now, man, because it's really starting to make sense. Like I'm looking at all of these coins. Because I'm also in a weird place, just like the rest of all of y'all. I put all my chips in Ethereum with the assumption that ETH was going to dominate and go to $10,000, and it never did. I should have known that ETH was fucked when someone said it was going to 19,000, and I was like, maybe. That was probably a good signal to be like, yo, ETH might be wrecked, because why in the hell does Ethereum? I always thought that ETH is a perfect $10,000 coin. That's as expensive as it can be, right? And what am I even putting value on? The fact that people are going to spin gas and the chain is going to get congested, so they're going to want to hold a lot of Ethereum so that they can pay for the gas when they need to do a transaction. What? That's not right. So like, that's why like now it's starting to make a lot of sense. There's a lot of different ways to think of it, right? You can be a user where you're just here today to fill up your Rainbow wallet or your Phantom wallet. You're working a job, you're going to put money in it. You are a dominant player in the game. But again, the game is being designed for you to fall into certain places that they need you to be. right? Bitcoin would have been an amazing product to have the supercomputer in the beginning, but it's 2008 technology. Theoretically, we weren't computationally there. Systems were not there. Bitcoin's literally built in like C plus or some shit, C plus plus or some shit. Like, is the oldest syntax of them all. And then Ethereum is written in JavaScript, right? And then when you think about ETH is like super powerful. But the thing about it was the contracts are written in Solidity that the Ethereum nodes can like register the variables. That's kind of like all that's happening. It's like how fast the variables can be going through the internet and how like big can that node set get so we can like handle more variables of this like floating architecture that used to just be a server in the middle of somewhere. Right now, this server lives in a bunch of computers all around. They all can get to these variable types, right? That's why we can do this because of Ethereum. But now it's on base. So now I can connect to a different RPC and get even better speed, right? Get even better opportunity with more individuals that are looking for the same opportunity, right? So like that in itself is why I'm still very bullish on Ethereum, because Ethereum is the right framework. Like it has the right framework. It doesn't need to do what Charles is doing with the masterclass of the chief scientist professional. Like that's all psychological shit to try to gravitate like the most educated, which is like all right. Like I'm not gonna hate on that because smart motherfuckers, they need a place to shine too, right? And that's why I think get a bag of Cardano, because now it makes sense why it's been here, why people talk about it, why people are so connected to it. It's those developers, they like this index. They don't mind building with Cardano. They are, again, this is probably what Avalanche wants to be. But the problem with Avalanche is that it's inside of EVM. And it's going to always be that. Like, they didn't build the architecture. Like, they built it, but they didn't really build it. Because, I mean, how do you say this? The question is there room for another Cardano? And Avalanche taking the Cardano approach inside of Ethereum is very novel, but it's not very powerful because it's just another EVM rather than Cardano that can be like, we're going to space because we got chief scientist professor to give you an analysis, right? Like if you do it on Avalanche, you already have the virus of the EVM because that's where you start your journey from, right? That's why X1 doesn't have the phantom code anymore. It doesn't have the Polygon code anymore. That's why X1 is migrated to Solana's infrastructure, because those variables make more sense for where we're trying to take this shit. And we don't need to rebuild it because that's not our angle, right? That's not the angle at all. You couldn't rebuild it and be a Cardano. But again, that's where I'm like, yo, you're really taking on something that's more massive than Satoshi. So yeah, like fucking take a photo with Charles Hoskinson if you see him in person, because he's taking on a task bigger than Satoshi Nakamoto, to be honest. Siloed out as fuck. Same with Tron. Justin Sun is taking an angle that is extremely reckless, but it works for him and his community. That's why you can join Tron and they're moving like a full oiled machine. I can't speak for some of these other ones because again, they're not really piercing the veil for me, I guess, besides Solana. And that's why again, people like Solana. It's at the beautiful number 2, 108. But I want to see if the market's going to pull down more. Whenever the real market starts to feel good, that's when crypto will probably start to go up again. And thank God, like, this like tariff stuff, it shouldn't last too much longer. I still have the time horizon of like a hard stop of all this bullshit like by the 18th, or things start to get better at some point. So we're 9 days from the 18th. So I guess you could say the tipping point would be something of tomorrow. So we'll see what happens in the real market. But yeah, it's a nice little rally happening right now for the day traders. But yeah, Solana up 4%, 108. Again, Solana's holding a good range during all this craziness, and their stack is being built out. Right? People could pick up a lot of these coins, but again, they're all trying to fish in developers, and some of them like Polkadot is special too, because Polkadot keeps developing and they're not in the mainstream, and they're not trying to be. Like, they don't want to be a Cardano. They don't want to be an Ethereum. They just want to be a frame that people use because they saw it in a soccer match. We're built on Polkadot. They make a few bucks. Everybody's happy. That's how I think of Polkadot at this particular point. Like, this is the inspiration of an idle crypto project. They're super idle. Whenever the bull market returns, I expect Polkadot to do numbers. It's just so idle right now. And that's the next world, right? Like, the next world is understanding why the market is using these coins after the bull returns. Right? When all this shit I'm saying right now might not make any sense. But when the bull market returns and you're like, wow, ETH is doing crazy. Wow, Cardano is flying up. Tron is flying up. The top is rearranging. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the sentiment. Like, the sentiment is like, oh, the devs like this frame. They're working in this framework. Right? And then labs, like, that's where it's like, what comes out in infrastructure? If Facebook brought React and Google bringing so much to the internet to make it real, what in the hell is crypto going to bring to the internet? Like, I know we're bringing the wallet connect button. So that's one of the master races right now. It's just this connect button. And mine looks all goofy because I'm fucking around with it right now, but eventually I'll make it better. Right now I'm fucking with it. But yeah, that wallet connect, if you get into the development side of things, you get to see like, oh, I could see why money is going into like wallet connect. It's actually kind of crazy that they came out with their coin too, because they made a network to make it even easy. I think they're gonna build a really good node set for more crypto infrastructure. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. As a developer, I just think that is where the money is. The money is no longer going to be on a project, like a ticker. Like, we just exhausted that, and I wish I was there for it. I was there, but man, I was not there for it. The next round of exhaustions, I am fucking going ham, but it's going to take a while for us to get back. We got to wait for like the bull market to sizzle up, or, you know, things to turn around. But yeah, I still got this up. We'll see what Joe Blau is gonna cook, because I already know he's gonna do something that's dope. It's just, what is he gonna do? We're going to push it back 24 hours. We found a UX issue that we need to resolve before we launch. See, Joe Blau is the man. Have you ever seen Joe Blau's xen.fyi site? I've been looking at this site too a lot, because this one's really good. And he has the website like source code here. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if he realizes like how sick with it that this is. The thing about it is everybody wants a template, which is fine, but crypto doesn't have one. And we have kind of like this idea, like this like how do you, yeah, like we don't have a design style in crypto yet. And that's kind of what I'm trying to point at. Like, what is crypto going to bring to the like to the internet, where people see the style of it and they're like, oh yeah, that's crypto. Like, I think I can see a little bit of it. It's, you know, it's going to be flat. It's going to be 2D. It's going to be a lot of gradients and things like that. Like this little simple design that Joe did is pretty sick. Like the blinking up here though, like that's what I mean. You can make it so it doesn't freak out, and that's taking it to the next level. But the fact that you can spin up a Zen shell, I should say, just like this. Like the fact you can just spin this up. This is see, like this little 3-step process here, and then I can in my claim because it's ready. But it doesn't refresh. I noticed that on all his UIs. Shout out to Joe though. He's working. Oh, he's working. Cause if we didn't have devs like this, kind of like this is the kind of dev I'm trying to be. Someone who's just finding out like what is the struggle in crypto. Like what is the daily struggle in crypto? Those are some really good products to build. You know, and then like if you can figure out, like again, that's why I'm like, oh, the Zen world is essentially like its own economy, because you can educate people on how to use their Zen with websites. So that's like a problem you can focus on. Like you can focus on minting sites, staking sites, you know, dashboards that show every Zen chain. There's just so many different ideas, because again, Zen is just a contract. Now it needs a face, right? And we don't really know what that looks like. We can see the website. Well, Zen will be its own thing. It won't be like X1, but X1 is kind of like your template. So like the way X1 is set up, if you just copy it, you'll be able to probably quickly like get people's attention, because you'll be like in the same design style and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm seeing a lot now though. It's coming together. 309 validators on testnet. And yeah, man, get you some Zen. I mean, I don't really know if you should. Again, we got to see what happens with the mainstream markets. But if the mainstream markets are up, I don't see any reason why Zen won't go up with the mainstream markets. It's only low right now because there is no X1 chain, which is, again, I think a very stupid reason for the price to be this low. Seeing how flexible the contract is. Like, we're going back to the Zen contract, and we're not even talking about how you're going to make money off of it. We're talking about how people are going to make money off of it. They're going to put fees on this shit. They already do that. Everybody was getting mad at, or everyone's trying to figure out the ETH game thing, because they figured out how to put a code in between, like a scam. But that same gesture, or that same function, is built into like every CoinTools and Zen Turbo, except they don't take the fee and redirect it to make more Zen. They just collect it. They just collect the fee. That's why I was like, oh, you can just, you know, like everybody doesn't understand right now. And like all these Chinese fools, they ran in and they started taxing like CoinTools is from China, bro. Like people like using that shit though, because it's, the YouTuber told me to use it. Yeah, once this dashboard becomes more clear, you guys will see it. And it's kind of like, again, it's going to be a stat site for base Zen. And it's like a hero site for you to see more activity. I mean, people will probably follow me, but the server's dead. But yeah, it's come a long way, man. I wish you could have seen the first version of it. It was fucking ugly. Now it's kind of cool. But Yeah, so what is today? Wednesday. We'll see where this is at. I might stream tomorrow, I might not. You know how it goes. So for sure Friday. So we'll see what happens. CBZen looking epic. Fuck, what a lineup. If more people shielded, like I was saying earlier, and stop shilling the shitty Zens with no hope, no upside, just pure hopium. Base has upside. Gymrat crypto is streaming. Time for a collab, bro. Damn. Gymrat is streaming again. He's back. Nice. More brain. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Zenrat Crypto. Whatever people want to watch. I mean, like when I'm done streaming, I go to the gym and I listen to music. And I just come here to leave my thoughts for the AI, really. Maybe I'll collab with bro. What is the use case of Zen? Who would use it? See, like, that's what I mean. Like, what up, post-chain Wheezy? But that's what I mean. Like, nobody understands Zen. Like, that's... Nobody really understands crypto. There's not a lot of pro users in crypto. There's just, like, a lot of people in crypto. Most of the pro users are... I would say this time around, we were so bamboozled that they're all in little camps. And those little camps are gardened by their future. It's like, yo, like, cause that's where, I mean, like, you should be in Solana, you know, maybe even in Sui. Sui though has they have the same thing. They're gonna suffer like a lot of other things that have come before them. That's why it's getting hit so hard. They pumped it up way too high, and their next strategy will probably be to get people into their nodes. At this, like, I mean, cause yeah, this is way too high. So I expect Sui to like go back under $1, maybe even go like 50 cents. And then if they change their chatter to like, oh, okay, you should buy this coin and become a validator, then I'll start getting bullish on Sui again. Plus, I mean, everything is just like a tiny cluster. Like, to ask like why somebody would use a coin is, in my personal opinion, to not understand like system design. On the pro level, like you're like looking at like tokens like Curve. I like using Curve because Curve is a weird one. A lot of people, they stay away from Curve, and especially after they had that hack. But they fixed the hack. They patched it. It wasn't even them that got hacked. It was the syntax they were using. So yeah, they learned a hard lesson about using non-battle tested syntaxes on liquidity pools. Man, I miss the old Curve though. When it looked like nasty, when they weren't following design principles, it was just fucking ugly. You could tell they gave up on it. Not gave up, but like, it does it better for them if it's just simplistic. And it's not like, here's something that you always look past. Like, you'll be connecting your wallet and you'll see here it says powered by Third Web. Like, this is the infrastructure shit I'm talking about. Like, there's gonna be websites that show up where the website is not in the race. They're just gonna collab with whatever kits exist so that they can get their idea out. Curve used to be really in the race, but I'm sure they're not as much anymore because it's a real business. So it would make more sense for them to start to become more flat rather than dynamic. Like, these are things that no one's really talking about in crypto because everybody's too damn brain dead. And I'm high as fuck. Like, I'm off the fucking Puffco. And I'm like, we're tapped into the matrix, bro. But yeah, this is how we will. You know how we need to use Zen? We need to put Zen on Curve Finance. But the only way to put Zen on Curve Finance is for Fair Crypto Foundation to take Zen serious. So that's how we get Zen, or we get people to, use Zen. We need Fair Crypto to put our fucking name in the hat and put us on Curve Finance, put us on Aave, right? But I understand why they're not doing it, which is trash, but it's more upside for the developer. Downside for the user, upside for development. Because if you become the developer that makes the liquidity pool, if you're the person that makes Curve Finance for the Zen world from a fair and honest place, because you have the coding experience to do it, right? It's almost like, why doesn't Joe go harder in Zen? But is he not impressed? You know, or, you know, maybe he's got really good, you know, if I'm coding for like something that's paying me, or paying my mortgage and like my life, like crypto is one of the hardest things to gain passion for. Like, again, it would be someone from crypto to make the next big thing in crypto from that community, right? They're the ones that were with it for so long. They're going to make the best use case. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. People will use Zen when they understand what it is or when they're told. And we have a very good understanding of what Zen is on CBZen. So on like, I see my guy Pulsechain Wheezy is in Pulsechain. That might be why you don't know how to use your Zen, because you guys don't really have community on Pulsechain. So like no one over there is trying to use Zen, or they would stake it and they'd be buying it up at these lows with their Pulsechain. Right. Again, that's just the denomination of the experiment now. And we can see this now that like it is a true fact, because CBZen is getting ready to lap Pulsechain and G rank. So we're going to have a higher G rank. We're going to have a better supply, and we're a year behind Pulsechain. All of that makes no sense on why Pulsechain is not doing the same thing. The only other chain that's doing what CBZen's doing that came out before CBZen is VVZen. And when I did a poll, nobody's on VVZen. So this is like man-made supply, like over there. Like it's just whoever's there made this. And I think that's kind of special, but it also shows weakness in popularity. So it's like special that they made, look, oh yeah, here's the weirdness. So like they got a lower G rank, and somehow, some way they have almost just as much supply as MZen. They have a smaller G rank than CBZen. So what does that mean? Y'all don't probably know. Like this is a small community. There's not a lot of people on VVZen. It's illiquid from every aspect. And everyone in this tiny little community turned their ETH-PAL into Zen. And it dominated. And they don't have a lot of burn contracts because there's only Phoenix and xeNFTs and DBZen. Right? But I know that they've been burning a shit ton, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they just can't keep up because for some reason, the supply is kind of infinite. The Ethereum PAL is infinite. So you'll hear that in the Zen world. Oh, you can make coins forever because they're infinite. And it's true, but only in certain scenarios. And the high to heighten the scenario is an airdrop chain. Like as soon as you go, oh, they got airdrop coins, it's going to have a lot of pollution in the G rank where people just made it to dump it. You know what I'm saying? They dump, like there's this weird psychology in Zen that I still don't understand, where people make it, they dump it, then they recycle the ETH to mint further. That one I've never understood. And motherfuckers will say it with a whole chest to me. Like, yeah, man, I sell my Zen and I make new ranks. I'm like, but the whole thing is that you get one lap around the sun. And the next lap will never be as intense as the first one. And now we're at this place where I hear people saying that. And they're like, oh, I'm not getting as much Zen. I'm like, duh, it was supposed to show. You were never supposed to sell the Zen for the rank. Now you're actually seeing the ranks work instead of owning the Zen and watching the ranks work. Right. So, I mean, see, VV Zen, I know we have homies that are over here, but yeah, that's the thing you're suffering from. You're really suffering from that low G rank and the high supply. That's a dead giveaway that motherfuckers have too much ETH POW. I don't even know how big this thing is inflating. That's why also, yeah, I'm only saying this because if you got $100 in fiat and you're trying to go into a Zen, don't let somebody bait you into VV Zen. Like, tell them to send you some Ethereum POW if they want you to fuck with it. Say, send me some of that. Right? So CB Zen again, this is why it's more dominant than Optimism. Optimism isn't playing these mind games because the AMP is at 1. So again, the G rank is inflated because people knew the AMP was going to 1. The information is what drove this up. The thing about it though is that people still don't know how Optimism works because everything should be staked. Everything. And it's slowly getting there. That's why, yo, this has got a lot of upside because the more people start to understand, I need to stake my Optimisms in, the more upside it's going to have. But that's its only narrative. And the other thing is the staking class that has a lot, they got a thumb on it for at least a year because the inflation will come from staking. So you got to wait for them to break the brick, but they needs to see higher prices is my personal opinion. Like if this drops a few zeros, someone at the top will for sure sell the fuck out of their OPs in. Because it's just going to be under, like, you know, the resistance level of like, we just kill 3 zeros and you're sitting on this giant bag. I mean, you could keep restaking if you're restaking the majority, I guess. Again, it's a small group up there. There's like 5-10 people up there. It's not a lot of people. So yeah, you should feel comfortable buying this shit because that's what's going to happen. They'll eventually get shook out. But again, that mind game is not on Coinbase Zen. You can just make your Zen and wait 513 days. I think it'll be the same. I think in 513 days, people will still be suffering from too much gain. Like they'll be like looking at their Zen mint like, yo, this is too much gains. But then they're going to be looking at their staking APY and they're going to have to ask themselves, well, should I stake it? Because if I sell it, I'm this amount will never be this cheap again. Right. So I am under the assumption it'll be the same behavior that we're seeing now, where people are minting Zen for their own personal pleasure and they're going to stake it on their own regards. And they have no plans to give it to you. Like, and you should not include it in your thesis. Like future Zen shouldn't be as included as we do in Ethereum. But on ETH, it makes sense because people are trying to bring in more money. So that's the dynamic over there. So eventually I think CBZen will get so big and it will only reward early people. Like that's how it'll balance out. Like if you're not going hard now, you can't expect to be having the same situation in 500 days. Like you're not the one going hard right now. So that's like, again, a little mind fuck. And yeah, the AMP is what gives us the ability to make these predictions, and it's dripped in ETH. So yeah, man, CV's in for the win, bro. I'm not even trying to shill it. It's bad. It's bad. What up, Crypto Neek? I'm going in on some ETH like for a month. I'm all in. Man, you should come over to the CBZen, bro. I don't know. I hope Ethereum does something, but it's heavily correlated to the real Ethereum. And I mean, I have the stat right here. So it's smart you're going in because Zen is actually more expensive than Ethereum in the last 90 days. So in the last 3 months, ETH is, if you've been buying CBZen or if you've been buying regular ETH, you're up 5% for the last 90 days. Now for the year, we're down 61. And that's why it's a misconception. A lot of people like to show the 99% down chart, but that's in USD, you know, and like the whole world is corrupt. So like that's just like a like type thing, like really shows how much you research, you know. But in the denominated assets such as Ethereum, we're actually creeping up. And nobody's trying to talk about this because they want to make sure they got their bag. So that's why, you know, I'm bullish on XEN. I'm just not going as hard because you won't need as much. Like if you're like, the only reason you're going to need a lot of Ethereums in is because you want to fucking quit life. So yeah, you should be buying that shit like crazy. You want to quit life and you only got $1,000 a week to put in. And you're going to go consecutive. You're going to go 52 weeks, $1,000. If that's not your game plan, then I would probably think about a side chain. And that's why I go so hard for CBZen, because I've been looking for the real side chain that is the real one, and it's not going to leave Ethereum. It's not. There's no way. There's a specific type of etiquette that's associated with ETH, and it's up to Base to mess that up. And I don't think they want to, because that's where the good revenue is, keeping the Ethereum spirit alive. But yeah, you'll see here Base versus ETH in the last 90 days is up 169%. Right? Like I haven't even done this. This would probably be a really cool website to make, I guess. Or find the logic on it. Once I get my website working, I'll do more logic-based websites where it's like fun base Zen math and shit. But one fun base math thing that I'll probably find out is like how much gas is been spent, and how much percentage versus ETH value over that span of time is CBZen up. Because like people spend no money to make it. I mean, you spending money. You spend like a dollar, maybe. Yeah, maybe $1, and it's returning like $2, $3 right now at these lows. So you're turning $1 into $3, but you gotta wait 500 days. Right? That's the catch-22. You gotta wait 500 days. And then yeah, there's a lot of catch-22s. You gotta wait 500 days. There's only 280 trillion liquid, and if it's an illiquid asset because there's no liquidity. So if you go and buy $1 trillion, you're gonna push the price against you, and it's gonna dump lower. So you got to come in with strategy to buy. Right? Like CBZen is so ready, man. I miss old crypto. Old crypto would have jumped on CBZen, but everything's so fucking fragmented nowadays. That's what it is. Oh shit, something just happened. Bitcoin pumped to 3,000 in like 5 minutes. For real? I was just about to sign off because I'm like, man, crypto broken, bro. I'm so tired of this market. Damn, it really did. Oh my God. Yeah, what's the news? Here, we got to find the news. I have a pretty good X timeline. Let's see if my X timeline has the heat. Shout outs Wallet Connect. 11 minutes ago, breaking. Trump says, based on the lack of respect that China has shown the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the United States of America to 125%. What the fuck does that even mean? Bro, only in my lifetime are we going past 100%. This isn't fair. Whatever. Nigga, I'm outside. But yeah, was it like, this is where my thought is, bruv. Like, I think the people of the world are about to just move into Bitcoin. That's the only way to get out the tariffs. That's why I'm like, positioning yourself in crypto is the smartest thing you could do. Trump has said there's a 90-day pause. Oh, okay. So is this facts or is this a lie? We got to make sure this is facts. So if Trump says that there's a 90-day pause, everybody's going to pump the market. I hate this bullshit. It's so stupid. And the fact that Bitcoin is caught up in it is even worse. It's even worse. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking has just happened. Trump blinked. No 4D chess here, folks. Keep moving. Lols. Oh, here's 7 minutes ago. Trump says, based on the fact that more than 75% of there was more to it. Based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called and that have not retaliated in any way, I have authorized a 90-day pause. Oh, okay. So that's what's going on. The government is controlling your assets still. Free what? This ain't no free market. The free market is in Zen world, baby. It's over here. Y'all gonna wake up one day and fucking realize it finally. You're gonna realize, well, we already realized that you guys are listening to crypto, bro. But other people are gonna wake up and realize that the free market is in the Zen world and nowhere else. Everything else is fried. You can't program it. Because if you program it, programming somebody else's fucking bankroll. Damn, I just sold my $100 soul. Bitcoin just pumped another $2,000. No way. Well, yeah, it said it was at 70. Here, let me bring up my chart. Hold on, I want to see this. This happening live. I'm trying to get up out of here, but it's not happening. Damn, sold up to 116. I'm sitting in stables. Extremely oversold though. This can flip at any moment though, guys. So don't feel like you're missing out. If the market rallies back, I think very hard because of this news, just play it good, you know, or play it safe, you know. I mean, that's what I mean. Don't play like the buy sell trade game. And it's, from my personal perspective, it's just not the one. Like, you don't need to do it anymore. You're already in. Like, you don't need to focus on these dumbass people telling you what's going to happen next. But it is good to hear it because this is a clean break off that 200 on the 15. Jesus. Dude, on the 15, it told you the story. Oh, okay, so we came right up to the 200 on the 1 hour. The 200 on the 4 hour is 83. So maybe there's some upside. But yeah, you already missed the bottom. You should have been buying down here. Yeah, so don't go chase that shit, man. Go chase Zen. This is what you should be chasing because it's heavily correlated to the real deal. Right? It's heavily correlated to it. So if ETH wins, so does Zen. Just know that. It's side by side with that bitch. Bro, I gotta get. Peace.